Good evening.
Okay, class, let's take a look. We are in the Eighth Noble Path, the final section for the Three Vehicle. So according to my calculation, maybe around 6 more time, about 1.5 months, then we finish the whole chapter. Then we will shift to Abhidhamma Sangha, and we'll try to enroll more new students, so that you won't feel lonely. Got a lot of people come. Oh, we might expect the colleague of Li Xian Long to come. Maybe because I met somebody, he say his friend who is the colleague of Li Xian Long might be coming to joining the Abhidhamma. So we see lah. Okay. All right. So class basically for the three vehicle. In the very beginning, we talk about how you have to make vow for the renunciations. After the renunciations, then we start to talk about that. There will be the Four Noble Truth. Okay, so the Four Noble Truth, we know there's a suffering, the cause of the suffering, and the nirvana, liberation, and finally the way to the liberation. And the way to liberation is the Eightfold Path. So basically, now we are in the Eightfold Path in the detail. So after the Four Noble Truth, actually we proceed with the Paticca Samuppada, 12 link and condition. The reason is the 12 link condition can really explain how the reincarnation take place for the level of life. So this type of the renunciation of this chapter, I think for Yungse Amanda, maybe more on future planning. Because you are more now in the working, and it's time for you to making the money. So maybe sometimes your problem the Buddhism cannot directly solve. You have to look for other avenues to solve it. But this knowledge for Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, they are more urgent because they are older age. So Elena, Yokwah, and Sally is a half lah. Okay. Basically, the Eightfold Path is very crucial. The reason is it provides us, tell us very clear the way how to reach the Nibbana. But anyway, the definition in Myanmar and Thailand, especially different meditation center have their own way of the definition. Okay, for the right view, basically we have already gone through. Let's take a look. Verse number 97 is right understanding also means insight into the Four Truth. Knowing the Four Noble Truth as they are, one should severe accumulation and practice the way, and shall realize the extinction of the pain of confusion. For from extinction, one realized nirvana. So you see, here mentioned already, Four Noble Truth for accumulation, practice the way. Okay, and let's take a look. So we have gone through this already. Let's see. 177. Yeah, we stop here. Okay. Okay. So in the previous lesson, basically we talk about the topic of the gradual understanding and started understanding. It's about that. It's about class. Basically, once you this is the path for Savastivada. For Savastivada, basically, you may enlighten, go through 16 of the Chitta. It's just something like this. Savastivada, basically, we don't have a quite proper diagram in English. Let's take a look. This one also 16, you see. Number 1. Okay. Here is number 1. And then here is 16. We got different school. One school mentioned that from number 1 to 16, you have to go step by step, one by one, step by step. We call it as a graduate school. And then the Saturn school, meaning to say that they can directly, immediately from the 1 to enlighten to number 16. So there will be different school regards the final stage for this part. Okay, anyway, this is the previous lesson. Now we continue. This is, yeah, Amanda, can you please read the passage?
This is, of course, an ancient argument which has lasted for hundreds and thousands of years. It is therefore difficult to make a definite judgment about which is better. If one relies on the present teachings and views the origin of the Buddha Dharma as being one, it would seem that the reaching and understanding of the Four Truths should happen gradually and sequentially. But this view is not at odds with the realization of the extinct nature of dependent origination, that is, attaining the way by understanding the truth of extinction. The sutra says that without the intuitive experience of the first three truths, one cannot have the insight of the truth of the way, and that the four truths are to be entered gradually. Just as one would climb a stairway, all these points convincingly favor gradual understanding and gradual realization. However, the profound understanding of and belief in the direct realization of the Four Truths, also called the belief that has been realized, is not about the realization of four real substances. Truth means investigation without distortion. Therefore, if someone can firmly identify the values of these four, that person has realized belief. For example, for the truth of suffering, birth and death are impermanent, insecure, without a self, and uncomfortable. The ability to understand profoundly and believe without doubts that the nature of the facts of birth and death is distressful. This is seeing the truth of suffering. Affliction and the good and evil karma that are triggered by them can lead to birth and death. The real reason for the continuation of birth and death is the causal nature of confusion and karma. If one profoundly understands and believes without doubt, one sees the truth of accumulation. Once the afflictions are eliminated, birth and death will no longer arise. If one profoundly understands and believes, without ever doubting, in the quiet, wonderful, renouncing, and transcendent nature, which is also the independent nature without any binding or attachment, then one sees the truth of extinction. With the Eightfold Right Path, there is renunciation. Without there is definitely no renunciation. The ability to understand profoundly and believe without ever doubting that the inevitable nature of the Eightfold Right Path goes towards nirvana. This is called seeing the truth of the way.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh. Yeah, Amanda, your reading is so good lah. Like you pronounce the nirvana. Oh, this quite good lah. Oh, are you trained before for reading?
No, sometimes I read book, I read out loud.
Oh, no wonder lah. Quite a little bit different. Of course, you are not English act. I can see. Quite different with Elena and Mr. Leong, but sounds very good already. Like a Singaporean, newscaster, something like that lah. You see, Elena, applause to you. So you have to say thank you. Okay, class, we really have to review ourselves. Number one, how strong you believe that there's a suffering. The suffering, I meaning to say that we got 7 types of suffering. Okay, birth, death, sickness, and so on. Okay, so I mean the problem. We have to depart the people we love. We have to meet and stay the people we hate. Okay, and finally we realize that all the suffering is due to the body, the existence of the cell. Who totally believe it? Can you put up your hand? Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yongsin, why you don't totally believe it?
So for your question, it's your statement is what?
Do you totally believe that the truth of the suffering, meaning to say that the suffering is as long as we have the body, we have this body, then we will start to birth, death, decay, sickness, met with somebody, depart somebody we love, and always stay with somebody we hate. Do you believe that?
I think it is.
Yes, so you believe lah. so that's why they all raise their hand. Yes, they believe. Okay, it's very important because this is the whole sentence. The whole paragraph mentioned. Number one. Okay, second, I say it's due to we have the confusion or ignorance. Okay, then it makes us have this type of body. Do you believe that? Even though you don't see ignorance, you haven't feel it yet, but you believe that. Okay, Amanda. Okay, Yukwa, then the rest. Okay, okay. So, Yongsin, yes. Why you don't raise your hand? You don't exactly believe. You don't 100% believe it.
Sometimes, this is what we hear lah, what we learn. But until the day you experience it, then you know it is what it is.
So you mean half lah, something like that, right? Believe in half. Okay, then the rest of the half, you have to wait. You have to wait until you see it. You feel it directly lah. It is correct. Something like that. Yeah, okay. But anyway, it's true. Basically, for ignorance and the craving, we can't tell. So basically, I think they all believe. Okay, why Elena? Even though you don't you haven't experienced directly, but why you raise your hand for these facts? Elena.
Sipo, a lot of ignorance at this age. I think we have more or less. We have faced it, but it's just a different kind of ignorance.
But the Buddhism mentioned the ignorance caused the reincarnation. That one, how many percent in your belief?
I don't know how many percent, but I believe because a lot of things happen to me that I cannot find any reason why it happens.
So must be due to the ignorance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So meaning to say that once you truly believe, they must be relevant to your experience, you see. So this is the one. Okay, number third one is the Nibbana. Okay, of course, none of us experienced Nibbana before. Who believe there is a Nibbana? Can you raise your hand? Okay, there's a Nibbana. Okay, why you will believe even though you haven't experienced Nibbana yet?
Believe the sutra.
Yes, it's due to the sutra. Okay, class are basically our sastra does mention that, like you say, we have there a few sources for us to raise our confidence. Number one of it is from the sutra, because we believe the sutra is from the Buddha, and we believe the Buddha's teaching and his experience. So we build up the most fundamental faith to read. Now I think the way besides reading the sutra, we believe it through the deduction. Through the deduction, we deduce that from all the from all the facts which is provided from the sutra and Abhidhamma. So we believe there must be a Nibbana. But anyway, there's one other way is through the experience. Basically, for those who experienced the jhana before, you will notice that during you are in the jhana, your five hindrances all will be suppressed. Okay, it is suppressed. The state you feel actually is just like a Nibbana. If let's say all of the five hindrances totally gone. Okay, but of course I haven't gone yet. But once you feel that for the whole month, maybe for the whole day, maybe for whole week or whole month, all the five hindrances, rarely appeared. That state is very wonderful. It's just like the jhana. And then if you got this experience, you understand that if they never appear again, that will be the Nibbana. Anyone at least experience at least 1 day or maybe 1 week, five hindrances suppressed, it never appeared. In the private hand, anyone experienced that before? Maybe 1 day, no five hindrances, fully suppressed the five hindrances. Sally, you got right. Sally, you got shine to raise hand. Mr. Long, Mr. Long got right. Got right. They are God. So meaning to say that, of course, now if you don't meditate, finally the jhana gone, then the five hindrances appear again. See, but if you really experience the Nibbana, meaning to say that the jhana won't disappear, and the five hindrances will never come back again. So for those who experienced the jhana before, you are in that state. So that state that you can try to deduce that Nibbana is something like that. So that's why the practical experience in meditation is so important for you to build up your faith. Okay, so please try go out and try some meditation. And then from this from this experience, how can we this the result of the experience should come from eightfold path, the 8 elements that in the simple way, this eightfold path is a 3 training: Sila, Samadhi, and the Panya. Anybody who believes quite confident the way I can lead you to Nibbana? Yes, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, then Yukwa, then Sally. Okay, then 3 more people, they don't probably have. Yes, Amanda, you don't fully believe that.
Probably because I never really practicing it.
Yes. Okay. So Amanda, you try. Please try to practice it. But anyway, your basic belief maybe built on the knowledge. From the textbook, and from the people you see who raise their hand. Am I right? Or as these people, they raise their hand. Meaning to say, my friend even can experience that. That is very important. Am I right? So after the class, maybe during the recapitulation, you can start to form a group, go to try the meditation and try to experience for those their experience. Then they must be from practical, come back to the theory, from theory, go back to the practical in this sequence. Then finally you have the fully confidence. Okay.
So,
yes.
Do you plan to do meditation camp, like 1 day or 2 days?
So far not yet. The reason is we have to wear masks in the temple. So I even cannot hold a 1 or a 2 hour meditation, qigong or chanting, not yet. So we have to wait for the government to remove the ban. Okay. So now I think maybe the retreat also, Mr. Leong must be online lah. You still have to wear the mask, or we just do it silently. Shh. But if we are being reported then they will be penalized. Everybody have to ready for the penalized. Okay, so that is something lah. Okay. Basically, Amanda, the facility in Erdi are just enough for a half day only lah. Our facility, because one day there must be a place for people to take a shower, must be a room for the rest, there's separation from men and women. I think maybe the meal we can call for grab food that will easily settle the drink also. It's the problem is the accommodation. Erdi is designed just for half day only lah. Basically, the time I designed it lah.
What about if it's another places like somewhere else?
Yeah, we can just rent a place and conduct it lah. Yeah, I may consider it. It's under. Yes, sir.
You can actually seek approval from Shah Alam Buddhist Society for their facilities.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we rent a facility from there and run it. But anyway, now we still have to. Yeah. But anyway, now what we still need to do is to wait to remove. Removing the ban from the government first of wearing the mask. Okay. Next. So we finished already. So now we go to the next paragraph. So this is the whole passage mean. Because basically if you have fully confidence, meaning to say that quite congratulations to you. It's very important because this Four Noble Path, Four Noble Truth in Theravada Buddhism, basically they are strong, very strong, have a very strong faith over it. Okay, next paragraph. Yung Sing, can you please read it? This doubtless firm faith belief.
This doubtless firm belief in the affirmation of suffering, accumulation, extinction, and the way is the profound understanding and belief in the 4 types of value, which of course come in sequence. But this belief is not in conflict with the extinct nature of dependent origination, the realization of the truth of extinction. The extinct nature of dependent origination is very profound and broad, immeasurable and infinite, forever extinct. This is the true Dharma that surpasses the relative nature of dependent origination. The extinct nature is fundamentally like this, inevitably like this, and it's called the nature of the Dharma, the dwelling of the Dharma, or the realm of the Dharma. Seeing the truth of extinction is not like the aforementioned firm belief in the values. It is the actual realization of the extinct nature itself, which surpasses relativity and is equal, non-dual, and without any sequence. In the process of truly contemplating the dependently originated accumulation and extinction, practitioners attain a distancing from love, a desirelessness, and a realization of the nature of extinction. Thus, in attaining the way, they have also realized the 4 truths. However, with regards to the wisdom to see the way, there should be some sort of sequence to how it arises. This is like suddenly discovering a collection of treasures, but checking them and taking each item one by one. This is one of the ancient master explanation. Both instant understanding or gradual understanding should be like this. Seeing extinction and attaining the way. This is what innumerable students of Buddhism have practiced and realized in the past. This fact should not be doubted. The realization of the truth of extinction is the realization of the extinction nature itself, and it's not the same as seeing the 4 truths, firmly recognizing the 4 types of value.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, class, let's take a look at her. Okay, basically, let's see. So this is the Paticca Samuppada. From here, what we see, you see or not? This is the ignorance. So ignorance and the craving. So this is, I mean, the cause of the suffering, the second noble truth. And due to the second noble truth, then we start the reincarnation. So this is the suffering. Okay. So once there's a suffering, then we have our, and for this life, we start to create the karma. Then we have the next life again. So from this view, okay, this view we will see that there's a suffering is here, and the cause of suffering, and the cause of suffering here, the cause of suffering, and then I mean the outcome for this life is the consequence, and then the suffering from here for this life, one day is a craving, attachment, becoming. Then we got next life of the birth. Okay, all right. The question is, where is the noble, where is the ignoble truth and also the liberation? Where is it actually? Sally, do you see where is the ignoble path here and also the liberation here? Do you see in this view of the Tibetan origination? Yeah, Sally, no need to look for the textbook. Just ask yourself and take a look to the wheel. Do you see it actually? Never mind, Mr. Leong. Yes. Mr. Leong, do you see it in the wheel or not? Yes, Mr. Leong.
Present effect and future effects.
No. I mean, where is the ignoble path? Where is the ignoble path in the wheel?
Present effect.
Present effect. Present effect. No, the way we see is the consciousness, six senses. It's not. It is not. This is not ignoble path. What?
No.
No one. See or not? Okay. Yes. How about Yukwa? Do you see in the wheel or not?
Not show in this view.
It's not. It doesn't show but from the wheel, how do we get the clues that actually the nibbana is hidden in the wheel? How do we know that the nibbana is hidden in the wheel?
You break the ignorance and craving, then you push to them.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, very good. Proud of Yukwa. Okay, yes. We should credit to her. You see, it's true. You see, one there's ignorance and mental formation gone. So the whole thing here will gone already. Or maybe the craving and attachment for this life gone, no more. So no more future life. Okay, so this is how we see the will actually basically more on past life cause and this life effect, and this life present cause and future life effect. So this is what can we see only? It's more on the four noble truth, number 1 and number 2 only. Whereas the nirvana, the eightfold path and the 3 training we don't see here. But once we know, the only thing we can see here is once we eliminate this and this, so when we eliminate this, so there's no more present effect. When we eliminate this, no more future, and the way is eightfold path. Okay. Yes, Mr. Long, any question, please?
Yes, I am not sure. I'm very confused why the Noble Eightfold Path is not in the dependent origination, because it is the contact consciousness, all these what you call our daily actions.
No. The reason is like that, Mr. Leong. This diagram, what we show are past causes and the present effect. We do to have an ignorance and a mental formation, so we have a present life consciousness, and we have a mind and matter. Then we got this, we got 6 sense, we got the craving, and also we got the contact, and we got the feeling. Or we call it as a vibhaka actually. Of course, we practice ignoble path by using the 6 senses, all is relevant. But here, it mentioned is the past cause is this, the present effect is this. It doesn't directly show in the diagram. And then in present, if we got attachment and craving and attachment, then this is our next life future effect. I know what you say. You mean maybe it is relevant to the sila, right? Something like that. We have to.
Yes.
We have to always jaga our 6 sense. So we have to avoid the contact. We avoid our feeling. Make sure the feeling or the craving doesn't appear, the attachment, you see or not, but just partially. We cannot understand you, we cannot explain how is the right view here, the right thinking, all cannot explain here, you see. And also holding the precept, all this, the jhana samadhi, all this not very clear here, because the will is more specific for the cause and effect. To explain the first and second noble truth only, first and second only. That's the reason why not that obvious here. Okay, so
and where does this where does this kama tanha, vibhava tanha, and vibhava tanha comes to this dependent origination?
Again, Mr. Leong, can you off your camera? I can hear properly. Yeah, please.
How does this vibhava and vibhava dependent origination?
Oh, you mean how to apply this? Am I right?
Yes, and how does it affect our what you call the Noble Eightfold Path?
Oh, yes. Okay. Basically, for this dependent origination, we have to go back to see the pagoda. So class, let's take a look. So this is the pagoda. Actually, the dependent origination is in the purification of overcoming the doubt. So this is the stage here. And then before the purification by overcoming the doubt, we have the purification of the view in the first place. So before purification of the view, from here, we have to study the knowledge regards the 5 aggregate, or maybe Abhidhamma in a simple way. And then before we study the Abhidhamma, then we study the Abhidhamma at the same time, you have to practice is a samadhi, purification of the mind. Okay, and in order to have in order to perfect your purification of the mind, you must have a sila here. See or not, have a sila here. And then once you already finish a purification by overcoming the doubt, then you can start to contemplate anicca, dukkha, anatta from stage number knowledge of the comprehension, finally to the knowledge of the viewing. So you are going to contemplate anicca, dukkha, anatta throughout this process. Okay, Mr. Leong, get it?
Okay, thank you.
This is a more complete and comprehensive way to explain this.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. The next, let's take a look. We go to the using the wordly to enter the word transcending. Yukwa, please.
First attain the wisdom that abides in the Dharma, then attain the wisdom that comes from nirvana. Following conventional truths to align oneself with reality is the way of right contemplation. In the right understanding of the middle way, there is fifth sequence. First one attains the wisdom that abides in the Dharma, and then one attains the wisdom that comes from nirvana. The Buddha told Susima, whether you know it or not, you should first attain the wisdom that abides in the Dharma, and then the wisdom that comes from nirvana. How ambiguous of this is. What is the wisdom that abides in the Dharma and that which comes from nirvana? According to the Sutra on the 77 types of wisdom, the dependent origination of all sentient beings' births and deaths is the same in the present, the past, and the future. Realizing that originations cannot happen without a definite relationship of cause, ignorance, and effect action is the wisdom that abides in the Dharma. The wisdom that abides in the Dharma is true, decisive in understanding the dependent origination of cause and effect. Even though this is an understanding of the illusory, worldly dependent origination, if one cannot understand that dependent origination is relative and conventionally designated, but believes instead that good and evil karmic retribution and three periods and so forth really exist. One only has a very right understanding that cannot be called wisdom. Knowing and understanding is nevertheless required for the attainment of the way with right understanding.
Okay, thank you so much. Neoma, you stop here. Thank you so much. Okay. Class, I think we have to further another one more paragraph. Then the explanation is more complete. Selipis Sutra said.
Sutras say that the following method to contemplate the law of dependent origination, in which there is birth and extinction, ending, decaying, departing, is wisdom that comes from nirvana. From contemplating the impermanence of dependent origination, one sees that all things are like sparks or like flashes of lightning that vanishes instantly, that they come from nowhere and go nowhere, which corresponds with the Dharma nature. Timeless and extinction, as it is said, all conditioned things are impermanent, is the law of birth and death. After birth and death comes to an end, extinction is bliss. The practices that realize impermanence and then the non-existence of self, there is, and thereby align one with extinction, are the principal doctrines of emancipation in the Dharma common to the three vehicles. There is also the doctrine of aligning oneself with extinction through the contemplation of emptiness and formlessness.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, class, basically we go through a very important rules and regulation for the practice. Okay, in Mandarin we call it 先得法住之，后得涅盘之. Class, take a look, the wisdom that abide in the Dharma. According to the sutra, class, the sutra of the Susima, in order to attain the knowledge of the Nibbana, you have to really understand the rule of the Paticca Samuppada, meaning to say that you have to understand that there must be the ignorant and cause the formation, and the mental formation cause the consciousness. You have to understand these rules, and then by knowing this rule first, secondly, then you start to, and then you can start to contemplate I mean the nama and rupa, the anicca, dukkha, anatta, then you're able to attain to the nibbana. If without knowing the cause in the, I mean the Paticca Samuppada, you are unable to get the wisdom for the nibbana. So that is the whole part mentioned from the Susima Sutra. Okay, yes, let's, okay, yeah, Mr. Leong, please, yes, ask first, Mr. Leong.
Yeah, Steve, before you proceed further, here says that wisdom comes from Nibbana. But I thought that we must have wisdom to attain Nibbana.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. It's a translation problem. Let's take a look. We say wisdom that abides in the Dharma, so 法住智, then the wisdom that come from the Nibbana, meaning to say that from the Nibbana we get the wisdom. And here, the wisdom that abide to the Dharma. Here is, I mean, the definition problem. Mr. Leong, sorry, may I know what is your understanding? Can you repeat first?
my understanding is that we must achieve what you call wisdom in order to attain nirvana, not the other way around.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, maybe I
That means we must have insight first.
Okay, yes, basically, I think this is correct also, Mr. Leong. We say the wisdom come from the Nibbana. Once you got the Nibbana, then you will got the wisdom. Here is the meaning. Maybe a simple way we put it is we attain the wisdom as Nirvana, something like that. Meaning to say you attain the Nirvana or you attain the wisdom which is come from the Nirvana. So both is the same. But how do you get this Nirvana? Number one, you have to know the wisdom abide by the Dharma. What is the definition abide by the Dharma? Let's take a look. This is the wisdom abide by the Dharma. You have to know the what? Definite the relationship of the cause. The cause of what? Ignorance and the effect, for example. There must be cause and effect, you see. So you see class here. Here is the cause, effect. Cause, effect, cause, effect. You have to know all this first, he said. By knowing all this, then, by knowing all this, then you'll be able to go to last stage as I mentioned just now. You see, just now actually all this cause and effect, it's just like an illusory, worldly, but you have to understand it. Why? Because by knowing this, even though it's a conventionally designated, when you truly understand it during in the meditation, then you are able to proceed to this step. Meaning to say that you see, then you're able to proceed to this, the impermanence. You see, you're able to see all the nama and rupa spark of the flash of the lighting and the vanish instantly. So this is in this stage. Let's take a look. It's in this stage. It's in this stage. Okay, and then from here, finally, anicca dukkha anatta, you will come to the nibbana. So this is the rule mentioning here, because some study they will mention that without knowing all these paticca samubhadra, immediately they go to contemplate anicca dukkha anatta. If you do so, mean to say you go against this sutra, Susima Sutra. This is so famous. It mentioned that you have to know the paticca samubhadra first, even though it's conventionally designated. By knowing all the cause effect, check each one by one, then you have to go to the anicca dukkha anatta, the contemplation. Then from there you will appear to the nibbana. So this is the rule, very important. Just always keep on remember it. This even though class, of course, if you go to Tibetan meditation, maybe you go to the Chinese Zen, they are run different. In a different way, quite different from here. This is more specific in Abhidhamma and also Nikaya. So not all the school will practice in a detailed way. So some forest jungle monk, they will do not that complicated. Okay, but anyway, you have to always know that you have to ask them. If let's say without going through the paticca samubhadra, immediately they go to the contemplation, you can ask this question. Is this a Tibetan origination? You have to go through, you have to ask first. If they don't say, they say, no, our tradition, we don't do that. So you just keep quiet. Maybe it's their tradition, but it go against to this Nikaya. From the Nikaya mentioned, without this step, the Nibbana wouldn't appear one. Okay, so this is an important rule from this Susima Sutra. Always remember that. In Chinese, we call it 法住之涅盘之. For those understand the Chinese, please write it down. Quite helpful for you to relate this. Okay, the wisdom abide in the Dharma, 是法住之啦. You can write in the Mandarin now. And then the second one is the 涅盘之啦. Okay, it's a little bit difficult for English act. Never mind, just ignore it basically the whole sentence is 先得然后呢后得. This is the rule. It's go first. You must get it first. Then later on you will get the nibbana. This is the wisdom of the nibbana. Okay. But not for the beginner. This sentence basically must for the intermediate and above student, they will understand it very well. And who is quite, I read a lot in the Nikaya, then they will understand this theory from the Susima Sutra. Yeah, Mr. Leong, just now you raise your hand. Any question, please?
Yeah. The thing is, Sifu, you see, to gain wisdom, we were asked to do vipassana meditation in order to understand the three characteristics.
Yes.
And understanding this, when we attain the wisdom, then only we can achieve nirvana. To my personal opinion, and from what the sutra says.
No. Here the sutra mentioned is emphasized in this. Paticca is the main cause. You see or not? The dependent of origination, you see, without a definite relationship of cause and effect is the wisdom that abide in the Dharma. Without knowing this, then then without this fundamental, immediately you can't reach to the Nibbana. It's from here, quite clear, Mr. Leong. You just go through again. The point is the wisdom that abide in the Dharma. And this is the Paticca Samuppada. The point is here. This is very famous. It's very obvious already. So, Mr. Leong, you just go back to the sutra on the 77th part of the wisdom. You just go back it. I'm quite clear, quite obvious regards this. Okay. So that's the class for today. So we try.